There's a few exciting Nintendo Switch stories we have to talk about today, starting with a fan-beloved game getting a remaster that has currently up to this point only been available on other consoles, now being confirmed to get a native port headed to the Switch this fall. Then we also have to cover a game that should have launched on the Switch long ago, finally being right around the corner from its big reveal. Then the big talking point for today's video has to do with the Nintendo Switch family of systems, as the base model recently received a mysterious price drop, and we have to talk about what this means for Nintendo Switch lineup going forward. What's up, Nation? If it's your first time on the channel, make sure you join Sunbro Nation by subscribing below, hit the like button on this video if you enjoy it today, and make sure you turn on your bell notification icon so you're kept up to date with all the newest gaming news. As I mentioned, guys, we got a few different stories to get through today, and we have to kick it off with a brand new announcement that Alan Wake Remastered will indeed be headed to the Nintendo Switch this fall. This is a hype one for me because I did not experience this fan classic game back when it was originally launched on the Xbox 360, and I haven't really even looked into any of the remaster that launched back in October on PlayStation and Xbox platforms. And the reason it is in the news today is we do have confirmation that we will now be getting a native port of this game to the Nintendo Switch, which is absolutely fantastic, and I will be happy to experience this game for the first time. To go over all the details briefly, I do want to hop over to VGC and read through their typed up article where they reveal exactly what's been said here. Alan Wake Remastered is coming to Nintendo Switch. The Remedy Action Classic will be released later this year. In a new video created in honor of Alan Wake's 12th anniversary, creative director Sam Lake confirmed the game will be coming to Nintendo's handheld this fall/autumn. Remedy is quoted here saying, "We're excited to announce that players will be able to visit Bright Falls on Nintendo Switch when Alan Wake Remastered launches for the platform this fall. This game will launch as a digital Nintendo release only and runs natively on the hardware. We'll show more in the coming months, and we're excited to share Alan Wake's story with Nintendo fans for the first time." Alan Wake is an action-adventure game first released for the Xbox 360 and PC in 2010. It follows a best-selling thriller novelist as he tries to uncover the mystery behind his wife's disappearance, all while experiencing events from the latest book which he cannot remember writing. Now, for me, there's just one downside with this story, which is the fact that it will be a digital-only release and no plans for a physical release at this point in time. Maybe we get that down the line, or maybe we see someone like Limited Run Games come in with a physical version, as I would very much prefer to purchase it in that style. However, I'm happy and will say that I commend developers when they do stuff like this natively. If this was announced as a cloud port, for me, it would have just been a throwaway. I'm not even going to pay attention to it, and we do unfortunately see that happen over the course of time with Switch games, and developers not really putting in the time and effort that is necessary, or really sometimes coming down to the publishers whether they're going to fund it or not and think it's worth it to port things natively. But you have to have native games, in my opinion, running on the Switch at this point in time with the technology that we have, because cloud is just not up to snuff and really pulls me out of the experience. I won't even touch the Kingdom Hearts games after playing the demos that are available on the Switch for their cloud versions, and that's a beloved series by me, but it's not worth playing it on the Switch. I'd rather pick up the entire collection for like 25 bucks on the PS4 and play it there. So good news is, Alan Wake Remastered fans, you can now look forward to a digital release of a native game coming to the Switch. And while Alan Wake 2 is currently under development, and they actually stated in an announcement as well that it won't be shown this summer, but that the development is going very smoothly, there is currently no confirmation that something like that is headed to the Switch, but it might be something that we see ported down the line, and most likely not a day and date release with the new consoles. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below if you have nostalgia for Alan Wake, if maybe you're new to the series like me, if you're planning on picking this up and playing through it for the first time, and your overall hype levels for this announcement, as we can now expect it to come natively to the Switch. So please share all your thoughts and feelings on all things Alan Wake Remastered in the comments down below. Now, the next story we're talking about today has to do with a game that I think personally is a perfect fit for the Nintendo Switch and has not been available on the platform so far. We are talking about Fall Guys, as just today it was tweeted out directly from the Fall Guys Twitter account itself that the big announcement, 16th of May, 1800 British Standard Time, which I believe is like 1 p.m. Eastern Time, on YouTube, also on Twitter, TikTok, everywhere. This tweet will automatically be notified when the announcement is live, and you have a quick little playback of a video of one of the Fall Guys essentially unwrapping a gift. And this, the long and short of it is they're going to be having a giant announcement. Now, you may just say, well, how does that confirm anything's coming to the Switch? And Nintendo of America retweeted this tweet out themselves, which is like, why would they be acknowledging this if they didn't know that this was about to be announced to be headed to the Switch? We knew it was in development up to this point in time for the Switch and Xbox, which I'm expecting both of them to most likely be unveiled at this event. But it was thought that this would come out towards the end of last year at the latest. We haven't haven't heard really any updates on it whatsoever. So them doing this is a nice thing, as the gameplay and style of this game just fits the Switch. I didn't think I would have as much fun as I did with Fall Guys. If you guys aren't familiar, it's essentially a giant online elimination multiplayer style game. I believe it's 60 players you're going up against at the same time, and so many players will be eliminated after each round you go through, with ultimately just one surviving at the end. It is a lot of fun. They were very creative with their level design and the different styles of courses that you have to get through. There has since been new content added since I played it last on my PS5, so I will be excited to have a reason to hop back into Fall Guys and actually play online with the Nintendo Switch community, because I think it's just the perfect fit for the Switch, and especially if we see some kind of cross promotion stuff happen with Mario skins, hopefully Zelda skins, and some of the iconic Nintendo franchises featured in this game over time. I think it makes a ton of sense, and I'm hopeful that maybe on the Nintendo Switch we not only get all the additional content out of the gate, but also maybe some brand new announcement for future DLC, or for some DLC that's already ready to go day and date when it does launch on the Switch. So I will have my eye on this one. May 16th, that is Monday of next week. Definitely keep your eyes out for that one, and let me know in the comments down below whether or not you guys have had a chance to play Fall Guys. If you enjoy it like I do, or if you're somebody who it's just not your style of gameplay, that's perfectly fine too, but I would definitely recommend people to give it a chance. Hopefully they have a free demo on the Switch, because I think it's one of those games that if people just see it for its kind of kiddie visual art style, they may not realize all the fun that is to be had in this game. So I definitely hope that people get a chance to check it out that wouldn't have otherwise. And again, this just makes a ton of sense to bring to the Switch, and we don't have to wait much longer for the official announcement. So I want to hear from you guys in the comments down below on all things Fall Guys and your hype level, and whether or not you think we'll see some Nintendo cross promotion stuff like Mario and Zelda skins over the course of time with this game in the comments down below. Now, the last story we're talking about today has to do with a very mysterious price drop around the base model Nintendo Switch console here in the US from multiple different retailers, not just one, and it raised a lot of questions around how did this happen and why did this happen. And so it's an interesting talking point for multiple different reasons, because you do have to have that conversation that Nintendo originally launched the Switch back in March of 2017. That is past 5 years old now. We have not seen them adjust the price, not even once, to the base model Switch that has been selling, which is clearly great for them, because you can't tell me that the components haven't gotten somewhat cheaper over the course of time. And while chip shortages and things may be somewhat affecting their margins, they should still be coming out far more profitable from selling that base model Switch at the $300 price. And now that we are in the full 5th year of the Switch being available on the market, there's obviously going to be somewhat of a natural decline in consoles flying off the shelves. And one way Nintendo might be able to supercharge their sales is to do something like a steep $40 price drop, which is what we saw this brief sale go live at. But to kick off this conversation, I do want to hop over to Nintendo Life's article that they typed up yesterday highlighting which retailers had this and how it was just a limited time event. So let's quickly read through this together. Deals: Nintendo Switch consoles are $40 off in the US right now, a rare and welcome price drop. And what is a very rare occurrence indeed, Nintendo Switch consoles are available at a significantly reduced price in the US today. A number of retailers have been slashing the price of the standard Nintendo Switch model to just $259, down from $299. While Amazon and Walmart were also offering this lower price earlier today, since selling out or putting the prices back up, GameStop still have discounted stock at the time of writing. Now, to clarify, since that article was written yesterday, GameStop is back up to $299 again. All of the retailers are back to standard retail price. But what's interesting about this, I would have dismissed it if it was something like one random retailer dropped it by $40 here in the US, maybe a system glitch, and you can just write it off as that. But having GameStop, Amazon, and Walmart, all major retailers for the Switch clearly, all simultaneously or close to simultaneously getting a $40 discount on the base model Switch, like, what's going on with that really? Is it Nintendo testing a $259 price point and seeing if consoles just have an uptick in sales all of a sudden? Why is it unannounced and there's no kind of communication around that flash sale happening? And why does it go back to the $299 price afterwards? Clearly, you can read into this in a number of different ways, and there's some different viewpoints that you can break it down to. One of which, and I think a somewhat likely scenario that we could be around the corner from, is Nintendo eventually backing off and discontinuing the base model Switch altogether, and they clear out the inventory over holiday season 2022 this year at that $259 price point, and then the OLED model actually gets a price drop as well, comes down to $300 and is the primary system. Then if we ever talk about a Switch revision or something launching in 2023. That takes either the 350 price point or potentially up to $400, depending on how powerful whatever that revision may or may not be. And that is definitely one route I could see Nintendo going. You could also just have them knocking down this price and continuing to manufacture and sell the base model Switch alongside the OLED, and maybe it is just that time for a price drop where we do see it come down to $260, and then we see the OLED either remain the same, which doesn't make as much sense, or the OLED also gets a price drop down to $300. And now the new Switch family of systems lineup is the Switch Lite at $199, the base model Switch at $259, and the OLED model at $300. And I think that that pricing lineup does make a lot of sense. If people aren't into handheld play near as much, you might as well just pick up that base model Switch until we can ever talk about a more powerful revision. Or you also have a scenario where we could see something like the Switch Lite drop down in price, because at just a $60 gap from the Switch Lite to the regular Nintendo Switch, then it doesn't make the Switch Lite make as much sense. So there's clearly many different directions Nintendo could go here, but I found this one interesting, and I definitely think that there is more going on than just a random glitch in the system at 3 different retailers that happened all on the same day. So is Nintendo toying around with the price drop? Potentially. Are they going to discontinue the base model Switch at some point and go just primarily to the OLED as the flagship system? That is a total possibility, but is clearly all up for debate and speculation right now. I want to hear from you guys on your personal thoughts and theories around this. Do you think this signals anything like a restructuring of the price of the Nintendo Switch family of systems? And do you think this actually indicates that a lot of the rumors are true about a more powerful Switch launching as soon as next year alongside of something like Breath of the Wild 2? Or do you think this is just some kind of one-off sale? We've seen Europe have random price adjustments and then go back to normal as well over the course of time, and this is just simply that happening in the US randomly on some day, and maybe there's nothing more to the story than that. So regardless of your thoughts and feelings on everything we talked about today, I do look forward to hearing from you guys in the comments down below before you leave the video, as I do look forward to getting a back and forth conversation started with you all around these topics. Make sure you check out yesterday's video if you haven't already, where we discussed some very interesting comments from President Shintaro Furukawa around his concern levels from transitioning from a very successful Switch to whatever the next generation is, and a breakdown of how they are planning to grow NSO over the course of time. Also, make sure you like, subscribe, turn on your notification bell, and I will see you guys in the next video.